Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode we'll be taking a look at the Grylls Ultimate Pro knife. I'm going to tell you right up front, I'm not going to go outside and beat this knife up. I'm not going to split logs with it. I'm not even going to start fires with it. I am pampering this knife. I'm keeping this as a collector's knife. So right up front, so if you're looking for someone to beat up this knife, there's all kinds of other YouTube videos on it. So go there. If you complain here, I'm not going to listen. I don't care. I told you. I just told you that I'm not going to do it to this knife. I'm collecting it. Why? Because it says Grylls. You pay a premium. You're paying extra money for Gerber to put Grylls' name on this knife. So I'm saving it. I've had it for a year. It's worked flawlessly. I've caressed it. I've hugged it. I've had it in my closet all babied up. And it's performed perfectly for what I bought it for. So there you go. Anyway, I did do a very lame review 5 years ago of the Gerber survival knife, the ultimate knife, and it was pretty good, but it had some issues. So Gerber listened to a lot of the complaints, and they did fix a couple of things, which we'll go over and talk about. But then they ultimately improved their ultimate knife with the Pro version, and it addressed the real issues and made a good knife, an awesome knife, an absolute awesome knife. Now, what made me just pull this out of the closet after a couple of years and decide to do a review? Well, for one thing, I'm getting really bored, and I know you all are getting bored of flashlight reviews. Unfortunately, people sent me a lot of flashlights and I had to cover them, and I still got a lot more to do, but I gotta take a break. I pulled all my hair out and I have no more hair on top there, and I just can't do it. But anyway, I was going to do the closet, and I'm like, okay, all these things on the internet of the world coming to an end, what am I going to do? I need to start getting my act together again and figure out what I want to have for my bug out survival kind of knife. And I came across the couple that I sort of set aside to figure out what I wanted. This could be a long review, and it's not just on the Ultimate Pro knife. I'm just, we're having a nice evening, Anyway, one of the knives that I would consider a great survival knife is the Charade SCHF2. This is the Charade Extreme Survival Knife, and I've done a review on this. What makes this incredible is it's like one of them true survival knives where it has like a compartment where you could put things in, except for some stupid reason they put like a screwdriver set, but you can take all that out. And usually knives that are designed like this, their weak point is where they sort of insert the knife into the handle, and it's like just a little pin that breaks. Well, this is one solid piece of metal, so this is incredible, but it's also incredibly heavy, and it's very large. So I don't know, carrying this around for the long term might be a little too much. I mean, look at the length of that. It's definitely a pig sticker. Great for killing zombies because it definitely gets to the brainstem, but I don't know. It could be a little too big for some others, maybe not. Kind of gimmicky, really heavy. So this is like number 4. Then my number 3 choice is the Becker BK9. So if this would be my number 1 if I really want a large survival knife. I think this is it. I've done a review on this. Look it up. Just look at BK9, Becker BK9, and Fred Hart. You'll probably come across it. Incredible knife. It's freaking half knife, half sword. But if you need something sort of semi-swordish, there you go. Now, this actually is, I'm debating number 1, number 2, number 1. I don't know. This is the BK2. and it doesn't look like much, but look at the thickness. It's a 1/4 inch piece of steel, and it's pretty heavy, and it's a very wide blade, but it's not a survival package. But I like this. I like this a lot, and I'm sort of debating back and forth. This is a package, and what I mean by package, it has other things besides the knife in the setup. You know, in the sheath, it has a fire starter. You know, and it has a way to strike that fire starter, because on the knife itself, and we'll go into the details here up and closey, but it has the fire starter in there. It also has on the back a sharpener, a pull-through kind of sharpener, which is an improvement over the sharpener that was in the Ultimate knife, which we'll compare. It has a built-in pummel. It has a whistle that's bigger and louder than the other one, and it also has a little survival guide sort of packed away in there. It's a bunch of stuff. It's a bunch of stuff, and it's an amazing knife. I got to be honest with you. Even though I've been sitting here and hugging and caressing it for years, I can tell this is a great knife, and there are videos on YouTube where people just beat the living snot out of this thing. So I don't have to, and I could keep this one as a collector's edition unless the world comes to an end, the apocalypse happens where you don't need to collect anything. So then I'm going to go ahead and probably strap this guy on, or this one. I'm not sure. And that'll be the one where I will await the world's end and fight my way there. So let's go ahead. How much time did I waste on this intro? Oh my God, 6 minutes of just yakking. But where did I put the other one? There it is. What I want to do is just sort of go over some of the specs and the things that they've improved between the regular and the Pro, and why I feel this is good. I also, in the description box, I did put a lot of specifications of both of these knives. I put links to Amazon for both of these knives. The Pro guy here, $67, and over time, over 5 years, this guy sort of dropped down to a very low $34. So I mean, you could still get this guy, but you sacrifice quite a few things for that price. And I even put a link to the video down there, way down there in the link. So let's go ahead and take a look. Remember, this is just sort of like an unboxing, a look, and just having a good old time this evening, just talking about Bear Grylls knives, and not technically a review. We could go ahead and just remove the knives from the sheaths so I can look at them. There we go. Very similar in size. As a matter of fact, the blades are both 4.8 inches. The differences between the two is a lot, more than meets the eye. Besides the visual difference, you can see that they put a choil up here, which is important because if you want to choke up on that blade to do fine work, it's there, and also it serves as a sharpening choil, so if you're sharpening on the stone, you can get all the way to the edge without bumping the handle. Obviously, this is a partially serrated knife, the old regular Ultimate, not the Pro, but the old one. And you could eventually get it in the full fine edge, but it took a while for Gerber to get that message, and then they finally did it. This knife, by the way, the old Pro version, not the Pro version, I'm sorry, the Ultimate version, not the Pro, the old guy. I'm going to refer to this one as the old, and I'm going to refer to the Pro as the new, so I try to keep myself straight. When they first came out, the pummel had a habit of breaking off. People were complaining. They would start, driving in nails or doing whatever, stakes or whatever, and the pummel would come off. They somehow glued it or attached it poorly. Gerber addressed it within that year and fixed the problems. And in my video that I originally did 5 years ago on this, I banged in a whole bunch of nails into wood, and no problem whatsoever. However, quality, there's some gaps there, a little extra glue spilling out. Not the greatest quality. Another big difference, big difference is this is 3/4 Tang, the old guy, the Ultimate. When they came out with the Pro version, they decided to make full Tang for Tang. Really good choice. And they made the pommel, it looks like, or appears to be the same piece of steel there. So they either welded it together and smoothed everything out, or it is actually one piece of steel. So that's definitely way, way stronger. And then you have the Overmold scales sort of screwed on. And if you're thinking about unscrewing these, taking these screws out and taking the scales off, you're going to have a problem because these eyelets right here that you use to lashing to a stick, as Grylls says, still hold this together. So it's kind of hard to get these scales off. Not impossible, but pretty difficult. You're going to have to destroy a little bit of that to put your own handle on. You didn't have that option with the old version. It's, you know, the rubber plastic overmold on there, and that's about it. Now, both of these knives, probably the most ergonomic large fixed blade knives I own. That is one thing that's incredible. You know, aside of Grylls being on there, whether you like them or not, it all over it, which I could do without, but whatever. Extremely comfortable. As a matter of fact, the old version actually is slightly more comfortable than the Pro version, but still have some of the most comfortable fixed blade survival knives you can own. It really is an incredible knife. Now, steel. There's a difference between the steel of these guys. The old version, first of all, Gerber was still pulling their crap back then where they wouldn't tell you what the steel is. It's secret steel. And usually when companies do that, it's because they have nothing to brag about and it's crappy steel. It's not obsessively or obscenely crappy. It's 7CR17 MOV, which is comparable to 440A. It's okay. It's going to get the job done. It'll be fine for your survival knife needs. You don't want something too brittle or too hard. You'd rather get it a little dull and have it easier to sharpen than to have something that is so hard that it's going to crack. You know what I mean. Now, with the Pro version, they upped the ante a little bit and they used 9CR19 MOV. Now, both use Chinese steel, but this is a better steel. This is somewhere between 440B and 440C. Probably a little closer to 440C as far as what it's like. So it's tougher, it holds an edge longer. Really, really good steel, especially for the money, the size, and the cost of the whole package that you get here. So, and again, you get the pommel. It's a drop point. And really that's it as far as the knives are concerned. There's really, you know, it's a fixed blade knife. What else is there to say? Weight, both of them. The Pro version, the new guy, is 13.7 ounces. The old one was actually a little heavier at 14.7. So they actually were able to lighten it up a little bit. So they made it better and made it lighter. And, you know, overall length, they're about the same. And again, blades about the same. Thickness is about the same. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to talk about. Both of these knives have it where the finish. See the finish? They actually did not finish this top. And they left that edge here where it's kind of very cornery and comes to a nice sharp edge. And the reason for that is, I'm going to go ahead and use the old fire starter, is that if you try to start a fire, and the way that you, by the way, the way that you start a fire with these type of deals is you don't go like this. You take your fire stick, you put it up to that area there, and you pull the stick away and let the sparks, you know, get exactly where. If you do this, your sparks are going to fly not where you're directing it. So anyway, I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to burn anything, but I can show you it works. You want to use this area here, because if you use this area here where the finish is, it's not going to work. You need a good edgy edge right there, kind of a sharp edge for it to work. You don't want to use your edge on your blade because you'll dull it also, and it'll start a fire there. You know what I mean. It'll scorch it. So, the other thing you need to know about both of the fire starters that come on both of these is there's a black coating on it. See that? It's like a paint. They painted it, they covered it. You have to sort of, for the first couple of times you use this, you sort of got to get that little bit of a finish off. and then till you finally get to the magnesium, whatever they use for the fire stick, and then it will function. It will work. It will throw sparks. I guarantee it. I've started a fire with this. It works really, really well. So let's go ahead and set aside the knives. This is a long review. It's not a review. It's a long talk. But let's look at the sheaths, because a remarkable amount of change with these sheaths. Number one, the old guy, or the ultimate one, the fire starter, you pull down, and eventually this can wear and it get loose, and then it could easily be lost. So people complained about that. Gerber addressed it by putting it this way, where it's up on the top and it's in there really, 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 really good. You got to sort of pull away a little bit, pulling up to break that loose. You can see there's a little nub there that you got to sort of get over when you're pulling it up. You got to like pull it up and get it over there and get it out. And you can see there's an O-ring there to try to keep things dry while it's in there. Well thought out, if you ask me. You didn't ask me, but I'm telling you. Now, another thing that they did, excuse me, I don't have a cough button, is the sharpener. The sharpener on the old guy was a little bit weird. You had to like undo this extra Velcro here, and then you do this over, and you get this not technically a sharpening stone. It's sort of a diamond impregnated piece of metal, and it's kind of small. And a lot of people are not skilled at using a stone for sharpening, and it's a big knife on a little stone, so the learning curve is kind of high on there. And quite frankly, the people that buy this kind of knife, the target audience for a gimmicky survival knife with Bear Grylls on it, probably won't know how to properly use a stone. I'm not saying all of you. I'm just saying, you know what I'm talking about. Let's be honest. So, refiguring out their target audience, Gerber, they decided to make a pull-through. Now, I know it's not as good of a tool to sharpen a knife, but for the target audience, it's probably better. So you sort of hold it, and you just sort of lay the knife in there, and you just pull it through just like you would any other pull V-shape sharpener. You can see it in there. Now, see how the blade, the sharpener's off to one side. This is meant for holding with the left hand and then pulling through with your right. If you want to, you could take these screws out and move those carbine blades to the other side, so lefties, you're addressed. You can go ahead and pull it with your left hand while holding the sheath with the right. Pretty good. Alright, other things that they've improved upon in the sheath. Here's a big one. Where did I put that survival guide? As with all Bear Grylls products, he adds this survival guide. Most of you who watch my channel, you survival experts, probably know everything in here, but the target audience, just getting in the survival stuff, buying it because it has a Bear Grylls on it, whatever, lots of good information here. It's good information, it's correct, so the more correct information, the better. It's waterproof. I found out because I had said in one video that it's not waterproof, and someone came back and said, "You idiot, it's waterproof." So I tested it out, and it actually is some sort of coating on here that makes it waterproof. The place that you're supposed to put it, where the old one is underneath all these stupid hand singles, and it's really hard to get in there. It's hard to get it in. I know what y'all thinking. So I never put it in there, and then once you get it in there, it's hard to get it out. Bear Grylls Pro version, they decided to put it here on the top of the sheath, and then you can stick it back down there. Make sure you just set the ribbon up right there so it just sort of pops in, pops out. Look at that. Brilliant. Brilliant. Some engineer earned his degree and made a way better way of storing the survival guide than with the stupid idiot who should have been fired for putting it in here with not enough slack in this piece of plastic they put in here to get this in and out. And that's my phone, I'm sorry. This is sort of like a plasticky that can kind of grip, and this has a coating that kind of grips. So it really wants to hold it in there, really, and water won't leak out there. Again, you know, it's just stupid. Whoever did it, stupid. I know you're not supposed to say things stupid, but stupid. Okay, other things going on with the sheets that they've improved upon and have not improved upon. Here's a bad thing with the new Pro version. This is the only thing where I feel like they took a step backwards. The Pro version, you get like up to a 2-inch belt in this little teeny thing right here. This doesn't come apart. So this is the part that goes through your belt. It's the only way you could carry it. If you want to carry it some other way, you have to modify it. The old version, you got, you know, at least 2 inches, maybe even a little more, but you could attach in the molly because, or horizontally or vertically, whatever, because you got straps going in the other direction. So you had more mounting options. However, the Sheath overall, the new one, is made much better. Now, I tried to take these screws off and try to attach one of these guys, which now I can't remember the name. What do they call these things? I forgot. The screws are too far away. See? So I wanted to maybe put one of these guys on here instead. I can't remember the name of it. Something Lock, whatever. But whatever. A little step backwards there as far as mounting options. Yes, made in China. All this stuff's made in China. You know, so if you don't like things made in China, right there. Now another thing that they can improve upon is how to deploy this knife. Let's go ahead and take the Pro version here. Go ahead and stick it in the sheath. Now, to get it out, you know, you got this Velcro thingy, which I wish was a button because I don't like Velcro, especially trying to be stealthy in the audio spectrum. Makes that noise, so you got to sort of like, shh, I got to pull this out without anybody knowing. A little noisy. And then you got to pull it out, and of course if it's on your belt, it's pulling your pants up, and you can finally get it out. Sort of friction held there. This guy, here's the Becker K-Bar Becker BK2. See how they got like a thumb push off, so you could sort of grab your knife right here, and you could sort of push off like that. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. If Gerber, if you're listening, which I doubt, when you make the next version of this, make a little push off on here. I mean, you could push off, but you're pushing off on just something that's not meant to push off. It's just a piece of edging right there. You can do it, see? But it would be nice if you made it so it's comfortable for your thumb, just to sit there and push it off. You know what I'm talking about. In case you're wondering, it does have drainage hole there. The old one actually has a drainage hole, but it's secretly hidden behind. Doesn't go all the way to the bottom, I don't think. I don't know. They got two little holes. Probably doesn't drain as well as the bigger hole on the very bottom that they put here. That's kind of important because water could get down in there, fill it up. So really, I think I really talked about every freaking thing you could talk about this. There is some sort of overmolding and texture with good ways to grip this thing. See how they have this rubber here? I think here's another poor design on the Pro. I should have turned my phone off, I'm sorry. They expect you to hold it like this while you're sharpening by putting these little grips here, but if your fingers are, I don't know, you're putting your fingers where the blade is. It's kind of weird. I don't know if they could have made this a different way. I'd be worried about cutting my fingers. Alright, so anyway, I haven't used this knife. I've been babying it. So, I could actually give you a out-of-the-box sharpness test by sacrificing my notes here. Look at that. That's amazingly sharp. Can I shave with it? Well, you could try. Yeah. It's taken some hair. It's not super razor sharp. It might be the angle of the edge. I don't know, because it cuts really well for paper. It's doesn't feel like a hollow grind, or it's a very shallow hollow grind. Actually, it almost feels like a concave, or a convex kind of edge. Actually, I'm not sure. At a very minimum, it's flat, and it's 3/4 up. So if you do want to mount a sharpening device onto this that needs a flat area, you got it up here, which is kind of nice. Your false wedge up here on the drop point. Nice little belly there, not too much. Just a perfect blade shape. Sort of, they drew upon the LMT, I think it's called, the Gerber LMT, when, you know, for blade design and everything, but the size is just a little bit different. And again, Bear Grylls all over it, but that's why I'm using this really as a collector's piece, because a knife like this, an inexpensive knife, you know, relatively speaking, is you know, could be a collector's item one day. I don't know how many of these they sold, but maybe I don't have children, so I don't have grandchildren, but, you know, maybe somebody in the family way down years and years from now that I'll pass this on to will have something that will eventually be worth a lot, and it will be worth a lot because of that name. So you paid a little bit extra now, $10, but you might end up with something a little more collectible down the road, and that's why I'm sort of keeping this as a collector's piece. And if crap hits the fan, I'll probably use this, unless the crap hits the fan so bad that I don't have to worry about passing things down, and then I'll probably grab this guy because I'll have no one to pass it down to, if you know what I mean. Vape time! I like my little guy here. I'm not big on those big vape things. I end up always carrying around the small ones. This is the Endura T18. I like them. Not your normal review at all. I figure we just have a good old time. You know why? Also, besides I clean the closet and come across all this stuff and I didn't review it, I feel like an idiot. I'm having a brain hemorrhoid. What was I? I lost my whole train of thought. I'm going to leave it in here. Oh, I know. I surpassed 50,000 subscribers. Holy crap! I can't believe it. You know, you wake up one night, or you wake up one day, and bang, you're at 50K. But it wasn't an easy path. Not at all. I sort of have taken the hard road here. A lot of people who got into YouTube when I got into it, especially ones that I watch. I'm not going to say any names, but there were a lot of gun channels and knife channels that sort of paid money to get ghost accounts to up their subscribers, so they got that initial extra boost, and then they took off. Some people got controversial, a lot of people cussed, a lot of people got into a lot of things that I sort of steer away from. I'm non-controversial, and I'm kind of boring. That's another thing that sort of hurts me. I have this much personality. I don't know why you watch my channel, and I don't know how I got the 50K, but all these things I work against, so it's a very slow rise. But at least I know that the subscribers that I do have would be more loyal, I guess would be a good word, and they would be better. I feel like I might have the best 50,000 subscribers out there compared to the other ones that might, you know, say, I'll go somewhere else. You're starting to get too annoying, or you're starting to get whatever. So I don't know. At least let me think that. Let me enjoy my moment. So anyway, because I got the 50K, I got to do a contest soon. So I'm trying to put it together. It it's kind of difficult to do contests, or I don't even know if you could call it a contest. It might have to be called a giveaway or a prize, or I don't know. There's so many legalities, and you got to protect yourself. And with the stuff that I review, when it comes to knives and vaping gear, you got to worry about age, you got to worry about laws, rules, regulations, not only in the country I happen to be in, but every country that I decide to let participate in the giveaway or whatever I call it. So I got to get that all sorted out. Then I got to figure out how to do the contest, whether how to pick the winner and make sure it's fair, and big pain in the butt. That's why I don't like to do them. I really would love to give things away, but all these regulations, laws, and always worried about getting sued have made this very, very difficult. Alright. Need to calm down. Let me get one more vape. I'm going to take one hit off my Cool Fire 4 temperature control 100. This is about as big as I get, and let me tell you, this is my favorite. And that's temperature control. And that tastes like Captain Crunch, sort of ish. What is that? What do I call that? Experiment 1 by Telios. It's a weird juice, by the way. It was a juice that the company came out with to try to imitate, I guess, sugar frosted flakes or cornflakes or something like that. It wasn't quite right, and they never made it. And now years later, they decided to come out with it. By the way, all these new regulations by the FDA is hurting these companies that are making this juice, because now they're going to have to put in paperwork that is going to cost, I don't know, like $250,000 or $1 million, I don't know, a lot of money for every single product they have to put in the paper. The small guy is going to get knocked out of business. Now, I did have an idea while sitting on the pot, where I have a lot of my good ideas. One way maybe around all that regulation is that maybe the companies can come out with the bottle with the stuff and the nicotine levels, so you would have just 4 juices with no flavor. You have your VGPG, whatever your proprietary mix is, and the nicotine levels, and you send those up, and then you ship your add-in flavoring with that bottle, so you don't end up having to do it for every single flavor. Maybe that's a good idea. If someone in the vaping world has stayed with me for, I don't know, over 30-something minutes, and they came across this idea, feel free to use it. That's the bonus of sticking with me throughout this very long video. If you're, in the business of making juice, maybe that's a way that you can sort of ease the financial impact of all these regulations that are coming down in the vaping world. Keep your eye on that stuff. It's important, because this stuff gets people off cigarettes, which is way, way worse. Anyway, I think that's it. I recommend the Ultimate Pro. Very few cons. Lots of pros in the Pro version, and it's great as a survival knife, and it's great as a collector's item, like I'm using mine. And again, if you want to see someone beat the snot out of this thing, baton wood, drive it in the wood like a nail. It's done it all, and passed with flying colors. This knife can do it. It can do it. It's a really good knife, even though it's got Bear Grylls on it. It's, I don't judge it by that, but that does give it some extra value, especially as a collector's piece eventually, I think, in my opinion. Alright, well, thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really do appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and of course, especially you. And I really appreciate you helping me getting over 50,000 subscribers. Thanks. And have a great evening. Take care. Bye.